Hey, welcome to Bigfoot's Outdoor Adventures. We are here. We're going to show you how to make a friction fire. It's going to be not too bad here. So what we got to start with here, I got a set here, a friction fireboard set. So this is my hearth board here. I got a hole already. We'll use that one. We might end up having to use another one. This one's been used a couple times, but we're going to use this. And I got a piece of cedar bark here on the ground that's going to keep everything dry because the ground's wet. It's been raining and maybe a little bit of snow. Then I got this other little piece of cedar bark here, real thin piece. That's going to go right under, and so it can catch our dust, which is going to turn into our coal. So what happens is we got our spindle that's going to spin in here, and it's going to create dust. And as it creates dust, it's going to fall out that little notch onto my little board, and eventually it's going to gather enough heat to create a nice coal. So I'm going to put this down there. Okay, I got my spindle. This is a bearing block. This goes on top of here, and this is a hardwood. Preferably you can use fat wood. You don't want to use softwood because it'll just burn right through and burn in your hand. It doesn't feel good. It's not nice. We take our spindle shaft here and we point it pretty pointy, and I just kind of take it, rub some oil on it. You don't have to really if you got this wet stuff, but I do. And then the bottom part is shaped down to a point, but it's a dull point. That's going to create friction for us. And I'm going to take this one because it's got a little bit of, we used it. So I'm going to just kind of trim the edges down a little like this. Get those little burrs knocked off there. So that way it spins freely and doesn't sit there and squeak the whole time and get stuck. And yeah, it can be frustrating. So then I'm going to take my knife and I'm just creating facets. Just making lines in the end to create more friction. You can go over the top a little bit, and it's got a little crack on the end, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it's not going to split on me. It's fairly still firm, hard, solid, but that little crack's is like another natural facet. Okay, so there's our spindle. Oh, we got our bearing block. I got extra spindle material over here just in case this one doesn't work. I cut this one off earlier today, used it already, but I figured it'd be a good chance to make a video. We got our little tiny bird's nest here. I got some fat wood shavings in there, cedar bark, works good to start a fire. And we got our bow here, which is just parachute cord, a bent limb. It's tied down here, and I might actually just tighten it a little tiny bit more, not too much. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a little bit, maybe a little knot in here or something, just enough to tighten it a little bit. Nothing worse than getting going and it gets smoking, and then your bow string's too loose, and so you got to stop and retighten it. Doesn't hurt it, but if it's raining outside, it's cold outside, you just want to get a fire going because you're miserable, then you don't want to be messing around with stuff like that. So we're gonna go on the outside of the string, inside out like that. So that way your spindle's on the outside of there. You don't want to really do that because you don't want the tip of this going into the wet dirt. That much more work. All right. So we're just gonna get started with our stance. Foot's gonna go semi close to the hole. We'll put this down in here. Got a little starting spot in our socket there already. That's where that's going to fit. And we're just going to start slowly sawing. Trying to gather some dust. Yeah, I might have to go ahead and make another hole. Get another hole going, but that's okay. Gotta be patient out here. You try to rush stuff, nothing goes right. Be patient. You just got a couple little spins here. So it gets going, get everything moving the right direction. Then you can kind of lengthen your strokes a little bit. Okay, and my bearing block is, I'm going to turn it around and try it the other way because it's not wanting to cooperate. We'll try this. That's a little better. And we're spitting out some dust, I see. Yep, we're starting to spit out a little dust there. Ah. So I just put this down in the dirt a little bit. I'm just gonna kind of trim the top of that just in case. I think it's okay, but and I could hear it squeaking in there, which means it's getting bound up, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's okay to bind up a little bit, but we don't want it to bind up so much to where we can't spin it. Okay, let's try that. Oh, and since we got some dust here, we'll just take a dry piece of wood here, and we're just going to want to keep it piled up. Nice pile. Really gently, because this stuff's extra light, super light. And we'll put this right back over it. Right there. Very carefully heel first, toe second. That way you don't knock all those fresh, nice, beautiful dust shavings all over the place that you just worked so hard to get. Get this there. Bearing block. Go again. We probably only got one more turn on here, then we have to make a new hole. That's what you don't want. So it's going to happen. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and make a new, we're just going to start a new hole. So what I'll do is I'll take this, because I don't want to get rid of the dust that's in here. Tap that dust off there. And we'll just go right down here about an inch or so. Right here. We'll just start a new hole. And I'm not gonna, I'll just put it on another piece of bark here, because I don't want to disturb that. Put it there. Get this. We'll just get that hole started here. It won't take very long. Sometimes it's better just to go ahead and do that from the get-go, you know, but it's easy to be stubborn out here too. It's important not to be, but it's easy to be. Okay, got our hole started there, and we'll go ahead and tap this dust that we made right there, and we'll go and we'll make another notch. With a notch, you're only going a third of the way in. You don't want to really go further than that. Some people go halfway in, but I think that's a mistake. I don't think that's a smart idea, because it's hard to gather that dust, you know, in that big of a spot. It's easy for it to just blow out, and it's just, and your hole's going to get bigger. So I just prefer just a third or so in. It's okay to not be in far enough either, because you can always open that up. Okay, got our V, and do it again. Got to gather this up. I'll use my knife. There we go. Okay, let's get this right in the new spot. All right, we're good to go, I think. I might make some more facets on this thing real quick, just to help us out with some friction. Okay. Set it in. Everything's ready. Slowly. There you go. All right, here we go. We're going to do a drying cycle or two also, since my spindle kind of got a little bit wet. So I'm just going to spin this until it gets smoking a little bit. Okay, I'll take it out. Allows the moisture that's in the end of my spindle, or might be in the end of my spindle, to evaporate, same as my hearthboard. Put it back in. You should be able to talk while you're doing this. It's not hard. It's just, you have to be consistent. Okay. Let dry for a minute. Okay. We're starting to get some black dust there, which is a good sign. So we're going to go ahead and knock this dust kind of into our pile. Okay. And I'm going to get this thing ready because we're going to go for a coal now. Make sure that this spindle's all the way ready to go so we don't have to stop. Couple more facets. More friction the better. Okay. So I'm starting to put a little bit of downward pressure. A little faster. Try that. I don't think we're quite there yet. We are getting there, but I think I might need to open this little notch up a little bit. I need to fix my spindle, it's getting stuck. Not sure. I think we got one there. Getting close. I'm gonna try that first one just again real quick. Looks like we got one, but not sure yet. Nope. Not yet. Yeah. Well, it was starting to break apart there. That ain't gonna work. Let's see if this works. Well, it's not wanting to cooperate there. Looks like our wood's plenty dry. Now we'll just try another one. That's what happens with friction fire. Sometimes you just gotta keep on doing it. Do that because some of it was kind of wet. Just kind of getting that started. I'm gonna do it down here again. That seems like that one might be the one. Okay, I think we got it cold there, looks like. Just gonna let that ember up, form a nice solid coal. While we're doing that, I'm gonna take, I don't care about this one because it could be wet a little bit, but my spindle, I want it to stay dry in case I have to do that again. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it somewhere safe. In my inside pocket, somewhere. Yeah, we got a nice little coal going. Now, you don't want to rush. That can get you into trouble. Then you'll lose your ember, and nothing, that's never any fun. So while we're letting that do its thing, we're gonna come over here. I got some fat wood here. And I'm just gonna really carefully get some of these real fine fat wood shavings. Put into my tinder bundle. All I'm doing here is I'm scraping it, but I'm cupping my hand around it so I don't lose them all. I can just go like this too. Okay, take some of this real dry wood inside of it where it's dry, and just get a few. Everything's damp out here, so hopefully this will work for us. Okay, my coal, I'm just gonna very carefully do that. All this little dust is good. Okay. Now I'm very carefully going to put this in here. Okay. Okay, we got fire. Set that there. Now we can start putting our kindling. And you got to be fairly quick at this part because you don't want this fire going out. You don't want to smother it either. So just going to use all these thin little pieces of dry wood that I gathered up, like so. Get it going here. Okay, got that on there, so now I can start putting some of this fat wood, real small slivers of fat wood. It's going to help keep it going. You don't want to drown it out, but you want to put enough stuff on it to feed off of. You can just take some of this bark and leave it long, but break it up so it burns better. This is cedar bark, that's what this is here. Burns fairly good. Then you can just slowly start adding bits of wood that are a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger until you got yourself a man-sized fire. Sorry, not being sexist, but just saying. A woman size, a manly woman, a womanly man. It's all good. A Bigfoot sized fire. Anyhow, we got our fire going. I'm gonna get some of this wood on here. And we'll be good for the night. Stay nice and warm, dry. And that's that. And that is how we make a friction fire. We'll see you guys later.